Australian Foreign Minister Stephen Smith says Australia will impose more sanctions on Iran, including 98 companies involved in Iran's oil and gas sector, and in effect will restrict business dealings between the two countries.
I'm announcing today new sanctions that Australia is imposing against Iran. These sanctions are further efforts by Australia to bring Iran to book so far as its nuclear program is concerned.
Anti-war activists in Australia are worried that the ongoing developments are part of the coalition's new agenda to launch war on Iran.
The concerns of the anti-war groups in Australia is that with this massive attack, verbally, but now in action against Iran, they've seen it before against Iraq. They've seen that the sanctions get applied, the fear-mongering gets turned up, and we saw the weapons of mass destruction line that was run very strongly against Iraq was a total furphy, but that has led to millions of deaths.
Pro-Israel lobby groups in Australia have lauded the Australian government for the increased sanctions. A number of pro-Israel groups have been lobbying the Australian government to impose sanctions on Iran. Most recently, an international speaker from Canada, Owen Kotler, urged these groups to apply more pressure on the Australian government to refer Iran to the UN Security Council for the alleged conspiracy to commit genocide. We spoke to Anthony Lowenstein, political analyst and author of My Israel Question, about just how influential the pro-Israel lobby is on Australian foreign policy issues relating to the Middle East and the recent decision to impose further sanctions on Iran.
I think in Australia the influence of the Israel lobby on increased Iran sanctions was important. It's very hard to tell if it was central, but I think it contributed. And I think that was because, although this issue often plays out in the media, you only hear very much one side in the Australian press, namely, Iran is a threat, it must be isolated, possibly bombed. And the voices that are saying that in the US and here are predominantly Jewish. Not only, but predominantly.
While the West continues to threaten Iran with more sanctions and isolation, Israel remains clear of any criticism or sanctions over its nuclear capabilities. While Israel maintains a position of strategic ambiguity, it is believed that it possesses at least 200 nuclear warheads. Unlike Iran, Israel has never signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty or cooperated with the International Atomic Energy Agency. Foreign Minister Stephen Smith refused to comment on Israel's nuclear program. Some analysts say Australia's announcement to impose more sanctions on Iran has less to do with nuclear armament and more to do with aligning itself with the interests of Israel and other Western powers. Rihab Sharida for Press TV, Sydney.